All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, after the Seattle Mariners won 90 games last year and barely missed the playoffs, the expectations were high for them entering the 2022 Major League Baseball season as they were looking to end, and they still are looking to end MLB's longest current playoff drought, which dates all the way back to the 2001 season. But for the M's, they've dug themselves an early hole this season as they are struggling to get out of it. Seattle's current record of 18 and 27 has them in last place in the American League West as they are 11 games out of behind the first place Houston Astros, as the Mariners have been one of the biggest disappointments in baseball this year. Now, the M's have dropped 17 out of their last 23 games, which includes getting swept in a four-game set by the previously struggling Boston Red Sox, while they also just lost two out of three to the dormant Oakland Athletics. And in doing so, Oakland was able to get out of the basement of the AL West, which is now the residents of Seattle. Now, when you think about the struggles of the Mariners so far this season, the pitching has really let them down as their team ERA of 4.35 entering today was and is 14th in the American League. Two big reasons for that. Robbie Ray. I mean, we saw Robbie Ray go 13 and 7 last year as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. He won the American League Cy Young Award with an ERA of 2.84. But so far this season, Robbie Ray is not close to being the pitcher that he was last year, as so far he has an ERA of 4.75. And this is on the heels of him getting a 5-year deal for 115 million dollars in free agency. Chris Flexen, who was 14 and 6 last year for Seattle, with a 3.61 earned run average, is only 1 and 6 so far this year with an ERA close to 5. You think about the struggles that the Mariners have had with their pitching staff, and on top of that, the American League West has improved. We saw Texas lose more than 100 games last year, and yes, they are still a sub 500 team as we speak. But the Rangers are definitely showing signs of improvement. You think about the Oakland Athletics; they've taken a step back. This is a franchise in limbo. Who knows what's going on with them? But nonetheless, they're still trying to find a way to battle and compete, even though that they have a losing record. You look at the Los Angeles Angels; they have really shown some improvement this year. Of course, having a healthy Mike Trout to go along with Shohei Ohtani definitely helps that. And the Angels right now are looking like they're going to be a playoff team this year. And then there's still the battle tested Houston Astros. And while the Mariners are stuck in the mud and they're trying to figure it out, the Astros is kind of like status quo, been there, done that, and they're going to continue to do that. So, with that said, you look at Seattle, they have put themselves in an ominous hole that they've got to try to find a way to dig out of. And when you think about the Mariners, for about the last 15 years or so, it seems like every time this organization is about to turn the corner and get to the playoffs in that playoff drought and become a contender, they come also close to making it. And coming into the following season, they're unable to build off of the momentum they had from the previous season, and they take several steps back. And, a lot of people were very high on this team. They won 90 games last year. And of course, they missed out. Of course, even the Toronto Blue Jays won 91 games last year, and they missed out on the postseason as well. But nonetheless, you thought Seattle was going to be ready to take that next step, and so far they have not. And for manager Scott Service and of course GM Jerry DePoto, this has been a huge disappointment so far this season. And if things keep going the way they are, Seattle not only is going to miss the playoffs, but they're also going to finish this season once again with a losing record. You look at the Astros' upcoming schedule; it's not going to be easy. They're home this weekend for a three-game set with the Houston Astros, and with the way that the Astros are playing right now, there's a pretty good chance that Seattle loses this series and they fall further behind in this division. You think about after that. Seattle's on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore, they're not the same. They're not a contender yet, but they're another one of those clubs that lost 100 games last year, but they are showing signs of improvement with the youngsters. Then the following weekend, Seattle's on the road against the Texas Rangers. Texas is an improved team, and that's followed up by a three-game set on the road against the Astros, and then they're home. The Mariners are for a three-game set in the middle of June with the Boston Red Sox, the aforementioned Red Sox, who got themselves out of a hole themselves in the AL East, and then a five-game set that weekend at home versus the Los Angeles Angels. So if you're the Mariners, it's put up or shut up time because you cannot afford to fall further behind than you already have in this division, as well as in pardon me, for a to be in postseason contention for a potential wild card spot. Got a little tongue tied right there, forgive me. But nonetheless, you're talking about an 11 game deficit that you have to try to make up to try to win this division. And even if the Astros take a back step, I don't see them sliding that far. And even if they do, you still got to contend with the Angels at the top of this division. So, it's one of those where they started off decent, did the Mariners, and then they just simply fell off a cliff. And right now, especially the way that things are looking in this division, it's going to be very tough for the Mariners to dig themselves out of this hole. So it's unfortunate for the M's. It's unfortunate for their fan base because they come out and support this club on a yearly basis. And again, just as soon as it seems like they're getting close, they take a step back and they find themselves right back at square one. So a disappointing start for the Mariners. The expectations were high. And if they don't turn this thing around sooner rather than later, that postseason drought in the Pacific Northwest will continue. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line. I'll be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.